Since the release of the medkit plush for Roblox Phighting has released 5,000 sales, we as a community have received a short look at some footage for the upcoming Katana rework. So far, 4 videos have been shown, and the goal of this video is to overanalyze them to see how strong the Katana rework will actually be. First things first, the passive. The passive seems to still be Looming Misfortune, and the general idea of Looming Misfortune seems to be unchanged. Land 5 hits, deal damage. Something that is different, however, is the fact that Air Stall, another part of Katana's passive, and M1 is now dead, which means that Katana is now unable to walk on the sky. A full 5 stacks of Looming Misfortune gives 50 shield and deals 40 damage, however Looming Misfortune has a very important chance that will be discussed momentarily. Another change with Looming Misfortune is that you no longer need a full 5 stacks to activate it, and shield gain and damage is proportional to stacks when Looming Misfortune is activated. For example, you will gain less shield when you're activating 4 stacks of Looming Misfortune and deal less damage. Next up is the M1, which deals 24 damage per hit. The M1 here is practically identical to the normal Katana M1, and even though it might look a little bit faster at first glance, though that might just be me, the speed is actually the same, which means that the M1 and the rework is actually the same as the current M1, aside from the lack of air stall. Now we have to discuss the M2, and oh boy do we have a lot to talk about. The M2 has 3 modes, a quick slash, a storm of chops, and a spinning charge. Where the old M2 is one way to activate Looming Misfortune, the new M2 is the only way to activate Looming Misfortune. Looming Misfortune will now not automatically activate on its own, it will only activate within an M2. This encourages strategic gameplay in activating the passive and maximizing shield gain and survivability, and also maximizing damage. Anyway though, the modes. The first mode, Quick Slash, is a 3-second cooldown, the second one 4 seconds, and the third and final mode 5 seconds before it can be used again. All of these modes deal 25 damage per hit. The Q is basically unchanged, but I think it's important to note that the Q does move faster. Old Katana Q is quite faulty, so I think there can be an argument made that this one corrects those issues, specifically making it so there's not a very large stun window for the opponent after you land it. As far as the E and finisher go, however, these are unfinished and we have not seen any footage. Because of the nature of this video, I will not be discussing theories about them. Before I talk about the in-game theories though, I want to talk about the M2 again. The leading theory about how the M2 works is that holding it down for longer means that you will get more slashes and more damage, but I don't think this is the case. In a screenshot from 4 months ago, we could see that Katana R was programmed in. Maybe this R could be how you switch modes similar to Coil. It would make sense, considering there's no indication for how long you have to hold the M2 down for. Anyway, actual gameplay theories. By the looks of it, the increase in damage and complexity is going to make Katana the favorable pick over Banhammer. That and the fact they can threaten range with the third M2 mode, specifically Rocket, who is the primary method of tank shred, rework Katana seems to be more popular in opens. As far as competitive fighting goes, it is hard to say as of now. Katana E will likely receive a rework, which is the move that threatens Banhammer the most. And as long as the rework is completely broken, Banhammer seems to be able to win the 1v1. Banana will certainly rise in usage and competitive due to the rework, but it's unclear whether or not it will stay. Anyway, those are my thoughts about the Katana rework. If you have any alternative thoughts, I'm open to suggestions in the comments. This is Ganymede, I'll see you in the next one.